welcome. Today I thought it would be fun to do a recap of all of the books that I read in the month of July. There's a total of 6 books, some very popular, some less known, some historical fiction, some sci-fi, romance, you name it. I feel like it's important to say there will also not be any spoilers to the books other than from the blurbs on the back. So don't worry, no spoilers. I'm going to begin with my favorite book of the month, which was The Ministry of Time. I think I really liked it because this book has so much to offer. While it is a sci-fi, it also has elements of romance, friendship, and thriller, and also has history at the beginning of each chapter. So the unnamed narrator is a bridge to the expats who are real historical figures who were brought from back in time to the future. So these historical figures are taken right before their deaths so that it doesn't affect the past and the future. And so her task is to live with one of the expats. Commander Graham Gore was a real person. So not only is it like a mysterious sci-fi with plot twists and like very fun things you'll be like, what? But it's also romance. A lot of people might struggle at the beginning and want to stop reading, but the end really picks up and I think everybody starts enjoying it more once you get past the halfway mark. I also felt like this book was an emotional roller coaster. You'll feel all of the emotions. I feel like the perfect way to sum it up is this blurb on the back. A boy meets a girl, the past meets the future, a finger meets a trigger, the beginning meets the end. I love this book, 5 stars. Next up, Hemingway's Girl. This book was very much old-fashioned island vibes, historical fiction. This was very fun to read, especially if you've read any of Ernest Hemingway's books. I recommend reading The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway and then reading this book. The book had elements of suspense and romance. The main character is Mariella, who basically attracts Hemingway and Gavin. She feels kind of stuck in the middle, but I loved reading this in the Keys. 4 stars. Next up, we have a pretty popular book, Love and Gelato. I read this book in 2 days. I really liked how quick it went by. This book is about family, friendship, and of course, romance. It takes place in Italy, and I loved how it made me want to go to Italy. The scenery and everything was really inspiring. It felt like you could travel there through the book. So a very fun summer read, very quick. It's about Lena, whose mother had just recently passed away, and the mother had once been to Italy, and she wanted her daughter to go there and hopefully meet her father. Lena is not up for it. She's not excited, but it was her mother's last wish, and she gets to discover Italy, get involved in some romance, and discover the delicious food. It was really fun to read. I also really enjoyed the fact that there was a movie that I could watch after reading it, but it did not do the book justice. It almost felt like a different story. The only thing that I didn't really like was sometimes I knew what was going to happen when I think it was supposed to be a mystery. And I also just thought some parts were like not exactly original, but I did enjoy it and I would recommend it. 3.5 stars. Now we have Forever by Judy Blume. I liked how realistic this book was. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just like your average teenage romance, I guess. So the book is basically about Catherine and Michael. It's their first love and they think it's going to be forever. But then after the perfect summer separates them, it says Catherine meets Theo. And I feel like this really sums it up. Is this really the love of a lifetime or the very beginning of a lifetime of love? There were definitely some aspects that I didn't exactly enjoy, but I do think that the book definitely dealt with a lot of issues that teens can deal with, like surrounding friends or social situations. But other than that, it was a story about first love. Had some good lessons that teenagers could definitely take away from this. And I did get to buy it autographed, so I was really excited, but I would rate this book 3 stars. The Inheritance Games. I saw that so many people loved this book and this series. There is an entire series, but I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of it. Honestly, I mainly enjoyed the last chunk of the book. That's what really got my adrenaline racing. I read it late at night and then I was up till 4 a.m. finishing it. However, because it is a part of such a long series, I felt like a majority of the book was laying out questions to be answered in later books, and only some mysteries are solved by the end of this one. So I didn't really like how it just went into like the second book, but I did think it was fun. I really liked how quick it was, how easy it was, the mansion vibes and the puzzles. It's narrated by Avery, who inherits the fortune of the Hawthorne family. Nobody knows why, but there's 4 brothers who thought they would inherit it, and she has to live with them for a year to claim the inheritance. So it's basically exactly like the Weston game, so that's why I just don't think the idea is original here. The Weston game was written first and it's basically the same idea. Again, I liked some aspect, and for the right person, this could be the perfect book, but I just personally didn't enjoy it. 3 stars. And finally, The Last Train to Key West. Another book that I read in the Keys, very much island vibes. It's narrated by 3 different women. It goes back and forth in each chapter. They encounter each other and then they go through a massive hurricane in the Keys. One of them lives in Key West and she's stuck in a marriage that she really doesn't want to be in. Another one has just had an arranged marriage to a notorious American. And the final one is coming down to the Keys to hopefully save her once wealthy family from troubles after the Wall Street crash. I'd say it was mostly adventure and the lives of these 3 women, very different, but they all have encounters, and there are definitely some romantic aspects in the book, but I just love the vibe in the Keys and the island vibe. So if you want island vibe, palm trees, everything, this book. 4 stars. Okay, so there we had the wrap up of the 6 books I read this month. Honestly, none of them were terrible, and the right person could definitely take what they've read out of any of these books, learn a lesson, or enjoy them. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!